Hello students, this is exercise number 67 of the legal dictations, and these are the in-text new words and phrases of this exercise. Gurdyal Singh, Bakshi Singh, Darshan Singh, Gurbachan Singh, Gurdwara, Amrik Singh, Joginder Singh, Kulwant Singh, Balwant Singh, Gandasa, Dance, Lalkara, Gurmeet Singh, Postmortem, Bleeding, Punishable, Medico-legal, Intervened, Alarm. This is exercise number 67 of the legal dictations on the speed of 80 words per minute for 10 minutes. Start. The appellants herein: Gurdyal Singh, now aged 85 years. His brother Bakshish Singh, now aged 70 years, and Darshan Singh, now aged about 35 years, were brought to trial and convicted for offences punishable under section 302 etc. of the IPC and sentenced to life imprisonment by the trial court. The High Court dismissed the appeal filed by them, and the matter is before us after grant of special leave. The facts are as under. A drain carrying on the village sewage ran across the house of Gurdyal Singh, appellant. He attempted to divert the course of the drain away from his house towards the house of Bhuta Singh, deceased. A civil suit was accordingly filed by Bhuta Singh against Gurdyal Singh for restraining him from constructing the new drain. It appears that the appellants had a grudge against Bhuta Singh and his family on that account. At about 8 a.m. on the 10th September 1995, as Bhuta Singh and his brother Gurbachan Singh were going towards their fields, they were waylaid in front of the village Gurudwara by Gurdyal Singh, Bakshish Singh, Darshan Singh, the appellants herein, and in addition Amrik Singh, Joginder Singh, Kulwant Singh, and Balwant Singh. Gurdyal Singh was armed with a gandasi, whereas the others were armed with dangs. As the accused were taking measurements for the construction of the drain, Bhuta Singh raised an object on which Gurdyal Singh raised a lalkara, exhorting the others to teach a lesson to Bhuta Singh. Gurdyal Singh then gave a gandasi blow on the head of Bhuta Singh, whereas the other accused attacked Bhuta Singh with their dangs. P.W. 5. Kulvinder Kaur, daughter-in-law of Bhuta Singh, witnessed the occurrence. She raised an alarm which attracted her husband P.W. 7, Gurmeet Singh. Kulwant Singh and Darshan Singh gave injuries to him. P.W. Kulvinder Kaur also intervened but was chased away by Gurdial Singh, Balwant Singh, Amrik Singh, and Joginder Singh, and after entering her house, Joginder Singh gave a dang blow on her left upper arm, and when Mohinder Kaur, sister of P.W. Gurmeet Singh, attempted to intervene, Gurdial Singh gave a Gandasi blow from its reverse side on Kulvinder Kaur, and Balwant Singh and Amrik Singh caused dang blows to Kulvinder Kaur. Chint Kaur, wife of Bhutta Singh, was also inflicted injuries by Gurdial Singh. The injured were thereafter removed to the hospital and information about their admission was conveyed to the police post. PW11 Rajesh Kumar, ASI, also received the medico-legal reports in respect of Bhutta Singh, Gurmeet Singh, Chint Kaur, Mohinder Kaur, and Kulvinder Kaur in the police station. The ASI immediately reached the hospital and moved an application at 11:30 a.m. to find out if the injured were fit to make a statement. The doctor opined that they were unfit to do so. The ASI again went to the hospital at 8:30 p.m. and moved another application as to the fitness of the injured, and the doctor reiterated that Bhutta Singh and Gurmeet Singh were unfit to make their statements, but Kulvinder Kaur, Mohinder Kaur, and Chint Kaur were found fit for the purpose. The ASI then recorded the statement of Kulvinder Kaur, and on its basis the first information report under section 307 etc. of the IPC was registered. The injured were also medically examined, and it was found that Gurmeet Singh had 8 injuries in all, with injury number 1 being caused by a sharp-edged weapon and injury number 2 being grievous in nature. Chint Kaur was found to have 2 simple injuries, Mohinder Kaur 1 simple injury, and Kulvinder Kaur 3 simple injuries. The doctor also examined Bhutta Singh at 11:20 a.m. and found 2 injuries on his person, a lacerated wound 3.5 centimeter into half centimeter into bone deep on the left side of the scalp, 8 centimeter lateral to the midline and 5 centimeter behind the anterior hair line. Bleeding was present. A lacerated wound 2 centimeter into half centimeter into bone deep on the left side of the scalp, 3 centimeter lateral to the midline and 5 centimeter medical sick to injury number 1. bleeding was present. The doctor also kept the injuries under observation and opined that injury number 1 could be caused from the reverse side of a gandasi. He also opined that both the injuries were grievous in nature. Bhutta Singh expired at the 7:30 p.m. on the 17th September 1995 and his body was subjected to a post-mortem examination. On the completion of the investigation, 7 accused were charged for offences punishable under the code.